Welcome to Living Local with Frisbee Real Estate, where we connect neighbors, businesses, and stories, because home is more than four walls. I'm your host, Ed Frisbee. Join me as we sit down with local business owners, community leaders, and neighbors to share what makes Western North Carolina such a wonderful place to live. Let's jump into today's conversation. Hey, it's Ed. Thanks again for joining us. Today, our special guest is Mr. David Nicholson. I've gotten to know David over the past few years, and I just wanted to have him on. He has lots of stories, lots of wisdom. He's lived a great life and is still living a great life, and he's had a lot of experience here in the area. And I just look forward to talking to you, David, and hearing shed some light on some things.
Well, thanks for having me, Ed. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, the past and present. So the biggest thing I've known from stories you've shared is you were county manager for Henderson County. So tell us a little bit about that and maybe some things that come to mind.
I've actually spent half my career in finance and half my career as county manager. So I started out as assistant finance director, then I became finance director, and I really liked finance. Counting was my thing. I loved counting. And then I had the opportunity to move upstairs to be assistant county manager for a couple of years, and I became county manager. So, and I said I enjoyed being county manager, but it was a whole lot of difference because I learned that in finance, everything is debits and credits, black and white. I mean, upstairs, things are just so varied. You're dealing with politics, you're dealing with people, so it's a whole lot different than being downstairs and finance in a cubbyhole where nobody knows where you are.
So which did you tend to like better?
There were many days
Depend on the day.
There were many days as county manager, I said, why did I leave finance? Why did I do that? That was stupid, David. Yeah. They were both, it was an enjoyable career. 30 years with Henderson County, 30 years today, by the way.
Oh,
I didn't spend 30 years.
Today.
No, it was January the 1st when I started with the county. So I retired on December 31st.
Gotcha.
So, but I had a chance to do a lot of things, go to a lot of places. I was looking just the other day at all the schools in the county and saying, well, I helped build that one, I helped did this, and I did all the financing work for those school projects, Blue Ridge Community College, Party Hospital. So had my fingers in a lot of projects over the lifetime. As county manager, we built the jail, the detention center, sorry about that, the human services building on the Spartanburg Highway, the animal shelter on Stony Mountain next to the landfill, and we signed the contract to renovate the historic courthouse, and that's when I retired. So,
wow!
So a lot of fingers and a lot of projects over the years.
And do you keep track of things going on now at all?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I read the paper to kind of keep myself organized and those type of things in the community. But I don't get involved in things. I've gotten out all that stuff. That's their thing. I made a determination when I left being as county manager I'm not county manager anymore, and I'm not going to be involved. People would call me and ask me things, and I'd say, hey, I can tell you what I know, but that's all I know. I have no opinions on anything anymore. So,
that's a smart answer.
Yeah, good answer.
So were you there when, maybe it was afterwards, I'm trying to think, but like when they did the renovation of Main Street?
Yeah, I think that happened right before I came to Henderson County. I remember when it was 4 lanes, but we'd come over here. But I believe it was finished time I got here.
Well, I never knew it was 4 lanes until a few weeks ago, and that was odd to me. I still can't picture that.
Well, there's lots of stories about how Hendersonville got formed, but Judge Mitchell King, who gave the community downtown Hendersonville, he wanted Main Street wide enough where you could turn a 6-team ox cart around in the middle of Main Street.
Oh.
Which you clearly can't do now.
No.
So he could come back and say, I want my property back. But that was his one caveat is, wanted to be able to turn an ox team around the middle of the street. That's why it's so wide. Huh. Most downtowns, they're not that wide.
Right. Yeah, there's still, well, gosh, I shouldn't mention parking, but there's places to park on the side of the streets and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I'm thinking of a few years ago, I thought maybe it was a beautification they did.
Yeah.
And they made it wind a little bit. And,
they did, several years ago, went through, renovated all of downtown, the city did, and put more planters out there, more trees, more benches and whatever. And then it actually extended it down a block. It's from First to Allen and kind of a little different look, but it's still the same idea. So, but Hendersonville's done a wonderful job. And we have a beautiful downtown. And as I used to travel around to see lots of small towns in Western North Carolina, Hendersonville has got to be the prettiest. It really is beautiful downtown.
I agree. And in real estate, a lot of people come and love it and say the same thing. And some people, interestingly, don't like it because it's too much traffic in their mind, which is crazy to think about.
That's a whole other story for another podcast.
How about one thing I've asked? This is a rabbit trail, but you'll have a good answer. We've we've asked a lot of people their opinion of roundabouts. I personally like the roundabouts, and most people say they like the roundabouts. Where do you fit on that?
I think in some places they're very useful. Sometimes we cut across through Lowell Park going toward like Spartanburg Highway.
Right.
Use that roundabout there, and it works really well. If I go to Brevard, because you live in Etowah, so it's kind of halfway to go to Lowe's and Brevard, whatever, and I use 2 roundabouts over there, getting over there, and they're fine. It does kind of bother me that they're putting 4 roundabouts in Laurel Park. That just seems to be a little bit overdone. I mean, I can understand the reason behind it, but in Laurel Park, that little stretch of Laurel Park is going to have 4 roundabouts. Sounds a lot to me.
I drove through there the other day, and there's a lot of road work going on.
There is, and if you come into town like I do all the time, you need to give yourself plenty of time because you may be stuck in traffic for a while.
And something I didn't know was the city or county really is not involved in that. It's a state issue.
Yeah, people used to call all the time, especially who moved here from other parts of the country, and they would call the county manager's office saying, I got a problem with my road. So I ain't got nothing to do with that. It's either a federal road like the interstates,
right,
state routes, and it's like 64 or whatever, and then you have city roads or municipal roads. So the county has no responsibility for roads at all. So that was one headache I never had to worry about.
Yeah, and is that normal?
Depends on where you are. I mean, you go around South Carolina, it's not that case.
Okay.
They're those state roads. They're all county roads.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
It depends what part of the line you cross.
That's what I thought. All right. Very interesting. Yeah. Well, tell us something exciting while you were working for the county. Something exciing maybe.
Something exciting
would be a news for us, or a secret, a gem.
Yeah, sure. One thing that was really exciting for the county is when during the Apple Festival, when President Bush was running for re-election, President H.W. Bush was running for re-election, and he came to the Apple Festival.
Just for clarification, I believe that's the one that was vice president with Reagan.
Reagan.
All right.
When Reagan, he became president.
Yes.
So he was running for re-election actually gets Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. And he came here. So first of all, it was a big deal. I never forget, it was Miller's Laundry back then. They had it on their sign up front, says, Secret Service suits clean for free. So he was going to speak in front of the historic courthouse down on Main Street. So the guy who was chairman of the board then, the county manager, myself, assistant manager then, we went up there to see how they were going to build the stage and everything. And so this little lady and little man came up to us, and here's 3 guys in suits, up there, watching the construction. And this little lady came up to us and said, "Are you all with the Secret Service?" And I said, "Man, we're so secret. If I told you, I'd have to kill you." But that was a fun day. I actually got to drive in the motorcade. I had a Secret Service agent beside me and 2 members of the press behind me.
Wow.
We picked him up in Asheville, and he took him to lunch at a family's house in Asheville, then drove him down here. It started raining while he was speaking. And so we got him back in the cars, and we loaded up in my case, my folks who were riding with me, took him to the Henderson Airport, and they brought in Marine One to pick him up there at the airport. Well, they got him in the airport, and everybody was so nice. Everybody we worked in the campaign, the White House, were all just really nice people, except one young guy who was just a pain to deal with. And so we were all standing around, all the drivers were standing and talking about how much they hated that young kid. When he came running back to us and said, "Get back in your car." So we're having to bring him back because he can't fly in the weather because the weather was so bad.
Oh.
So they brought him back. We all loaded back up again and headed down I-26 to Spartanburg Airport, where Air Force One was parked. Now, first of all, coming down here, because all the roads are closed, right?
Yep.
Nobody can get on the interstate except for
Yep.
motorcade. Well, going to Spartanburg, there were people passing us. Because they didn't know.
It was unplanned.
It was unplanned. So
and then Asheville Airport wasn't big enough to allow
Air Force One to land.
Gotcha.
So we're going down the road. First of all, this car came flying by, and I saw my Secret Service, talking in his sleeve where the microphone was, and And I said, it's okay. I know him. He's a sheriff's deputy. He's a sheriff's deputy. So he got back on his he's okay. Because it was just flying down the road. And so we actually tried to drive right up on the tarmac right next to Air Force One.
Wow.
And that was a real interesting day. So, but they left so much stuff. We had a whole bunch of office spaces for them. They left all their paperwork, all their information, all their notes, everything.
Gosh.
So that was an interesting day. To get to see the president's limousine, to see Marine One, Air Force One, those black Suburbans that follow the president. You don't want to mess with those guys. I'm telling you, they take their job really seriously. so that was an interesting time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So how does it work with Marine One? It just wasn't safe to have passengers, but it flew back, obviously.
Yeah, I guess it flew back
when the
some
weather
point.
cleared
I
or
don't know
something.
how long it was there, but
Gotcha.
But they ship those things all over the world. So they ship his cars, the president's cars. They ship his helicopters. So they're used to it.
Yeah, that's always amazing. I've heard stories of how they have multiple, situations, and it's a big fleet almost that flies
I was watching
around.
a YouTube video yesterday of Jay Leno Garage, and he had actually brought a president's limousine to him. Let him see that. So that was, then they were opening the doors, showing how thick those doors are and how the glass works. I mean, they wouldn't let you look inside, but they let you, kind of see some of the features of the beast.
That's cool. Does that mean you're friends with Jay Leno?
No, Jay Leno's Garage. It's a podcast. You've heard of podcasts, haven't you, Ed?
Yes. I was just thinking that'd be fun to have Jay Leno as a guest if you did know him. Thanks, David. So you mentioned cars. That's a rabbit trail for us.
Yeah,
Tell us about something to do with Corvettes. I think
when I was just a kid, I loved Corvettes. I don't know if boys do this now, but we made model cars.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little about this big a model car. And
I did Army trucks.
I did your army trucks. So, I always did Corvettes because I thought they were a neat thing. So, in fact, I even made one that was candy apple red, and it won the best in show when I was just in elementary school. A highlight of my youth was winning a award for a car show. And I always loved a Corvette, but I never had one. And I had the opportunity about 6 years ago to buy one for the first time. And so I bought it and just loved it. Just enjoyed it. I found out there was a Corvette Club here in town, which I didn't know it even existed. And so they invited me to go on a ride with them. We went to Cashiers for lunch one day, and just the nicest bunch of people. So we actually joined the Apple Country Corvette Club. Now, Ed, I've been lots of organizations, and just over my career and things I've been involved in, but. My wife was a dental hygienist. She says she was in her little office with her patient, and that's what she did for 8 hours every day. So she wasn't involved with it, but she'll tell you she loves being part of this Corvette Club because people are so nice. And, we do 1 or 2 trips a month to a restaurant somewhere for a drive, and then we have a monthly meeting, and then sometimes we just have meetups where we go to a brewery, winery, to a restaurant, and just meet up there for the fellowship of it. So,
and when that happens, how many are going?
Well, it depends. Well, we'll have as many for a cruise we go to Little Switzerland. You'll have 20 cars maybe.
Wow. And they're all just following each other.
Just following each other.
That's cool.
It's hard to keep together that many cars. But I think we had 14 that went to Cashiers, Glenville just a couple of weeks ago. So, and we kind of got separated a little bit, but that was okay. We all caught up at the restaurant. So.
Yeah. And somebody in the back might intentionally try to slow down so they could drive faster to catch up.
Well, that's sometimes people will drive too fast, get in line, stay there. But it's a lot of fun. Well, but we're supposed to have a radio. Now, not everybody's got one, but so you can communicate with in the front with somebody in the middle and somebody in the back. So we kind of all know where we are.
So back in the old days, my dad had a CB radio, and the person in the front had the front door. The person in the middle was the rocking chair.
Okay.
And the person in the back was the back door.
Okay.
Keep an eye on everything.
There you go.
Do y'all ever race when you're going somewhere?
No.
That's too bad.
No, I know. No, we're pretty. Although you can't help it. Sometimes I push it every so often. It's a Corvette, but I learned a long time ago that policemen would love to stop and give a ticket to a red Corvette.
Huh.
And my first one and the one I've got now are both red Corvettes. So
Gotcha.
it's like give me a ticket, ticket. So I do not push it.
So the Corvette Club, do Tell us about that real fast. So what ages are those cars? Or
Yeah, we've got, the Corvettes are by generation. The C1s are the original Corvettes, the 53, 55, 58, 59, whatever. And then you get into C2s, the early 60s, which had a little different look to them. And then you get into C3s, and that's when they became more muscle cars. Okay, they became, like the 63, 63 is the one that has the T-top. You've seen that one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Did it for 1 year, but that's all they did it for. So that's C3. And then they go all the way back. So mine are both C6s. My first one was a 2006. Now my one is a 2013. It's the 60th anniversary Corvette. And then the next year they had a couple. Well, actually, the very next year, besides mine, they came out with C7. And now the ones they're out brand new are C8s.
okay,
So they make every 10 years they change the look, a little bit to a whole lot. I mean, we went from the C7 to the C8. I mean, that's a massive change. It went to a mid-engine Corvette, whatever. But it's a whole different Corvette.
and what size engine is yours?
Mine's an NLS3, which means it's about 470 horsepower.
Wow, 8-cylinder.
Oh yeah.
Are they always
What kind
8
of question? What kind of question is that, Ed? Of course, they're 8-cylinder.
Are they always 8-cylinder?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason,
No,
I thought I've heard of a
some of the-
6-cylinder Corvette.
No,
So
I would say I don't know. Some of the early ones, the C1, C2s, may have had a smaller engine.
Okay.
But once you got into C3s, trust me, they're all V8s.
Have you-
or now, of course, they're mid-engines. They're trying to compete with Porsches and those type of things. So,
Right.
they're I'm not sure what they are. They're a whole other world.
have you ever had a Tesla drive up next to you and want to race?
No, but I have some friends who own Teslas, and they tell me they will actually fly. But Mustangs are the worst ones. Now my wife has a Mustang. So I have to be nice here. But Mustangs will get me time and they start revving that engine. I'm going. I don't have to rev an engine. I own a Corvette.
That could be a bumper sticker.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right. So one thing I always like to ask people is about food in the area or places to go see. So if you have guests in town, is there anything you recommend? Hey, you got to go see this, or we got to go check this out. This is a beautiful area.
Okay. And in watching your podcast, I'm always interested in what they talk about, the restaurants they always recommend to people. And Sue and I talk all the time that we don't go out a whole lot. With the Seven for that Corvette Club, we don't go out a whole lot to eat. We're more homebodies. In fact, I've got a whole box of meat being delivered today that we'll cook at the house over the next month and a half. And so, I think our favorite restaurant has become 12 Bones over in Arden. I mean, it is so
Bones
good.
is
We
delicious.
went over there a couple of Saturdays ago, and we drove to the parking lot. My wife said, "We need to come back here." I said, "Yeah, we do," because it was so.
They have great sides.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, their baked beans are to die for. They're so good. But so that's really good. We enjoy that. So Luno in Lower Park. We like to go there, and we live real close to the Etowah Valley Country Club, and so during the summertime, we love to go down there, especially for lunch, and sit out there when you watch the golfers golf. And it's out. You're eating outside. It's got good food.
Yep.
It's not fancy, but it's got good food. So we enjoy doing that.
I've been there once, and it was a nice experience. So I look forward to you inviting me again.
Do that. We'd love to have you and your beautiful wife come and have lunch with us.
So what about any areas out towards Etowah, Brevard, like outdoor stuff you recommend people to go see?
Well, of course, we're again being halfway from Henderson and Brevard, but actually Pisgah Forest. We love to go to the forest. I mean, when we were dating, we were at the forest all the time because we both we're in Transylvania County, my wife and I. So we enjoyed the forest.
There's lots of waterfalls there.
Lots of waterfalls.
In case people aren't aware.
Lots of waterfalls and beautiful ones too.
Yep.
And the problem is it's hard to get to see them anymore because there's so many people who drive it up there.
Yep.
I came through there here just a few weeks ago, and about lunchtime or whatever, and you couldn't get near the waterfalls. It was just so many cars parked along the road.
Wow.
It's like Sliding Rock. It's the same way. I mean, I used to love to go to Sliding Rock and enjoy that cold water, but now it's almost too many people. So
I remember hearing Hunger Games recorded some of their film out in Pisgah Forest.
Yeah, the Hunger Games was filmed in Western Carolina. The Last of the Mohicans
Yes.
was filmed in Henderson County. There have been several, locally. It was a movie called Heavyweights was filmed here. So there have been several movies that have been filmed around here over the years. They go back to in the 50s when one called Thunder Road was filmed here. So back with Robert Mitchum. So this community has had a lot of films and TV work done here over the years.
And just one last year or year before with, she just passed away, was over at camp off of Little River Road, not Pendleton. Pinnacle? Camp Pinnacle had the lady's name? She just passed away, a famous actor. Anyway, she was there. They just filmed a year and a half ago. But Heavyweights, I think, was Camp Tonawanda.
Yeah. Another thing I always encourage people to do is go to the Flat Rock Playhouse. We love the Playhouse, and we've been going to the Playhouse since I came with Henderson County in the mid '70s, and still love to go there. We don't catch every show because, as you know, we go to our place in North Myrtle Beach some, so we don't catch every show there. But we always enjoy it. It's just a quality production, and they do the staff's wonderful, and you can't. I've seen Broadway plays, and they're great. I love seeing a play on Broadway, but I'm amazed when I walk out of that theater and say, "This is Henderson County. This is Flat Rock." What a blessing we've gotten into Flat Rock Playhouse.
And it's called, isn't it called North Carolina State Theater or something?
State Theater,
I guess.
North Carolina. Mm-hmm.
And I think locals, some are probably quite a few locals forget it's there.
Yeah.
But you're correct. It's a great place.
We went to a matinee here a couple of weeks ago, and it was packed. It was absolutely packed for a matinee. And so looking forward to the Christmas show. If you've never seen the Flat Rock Christmas show, you need to go. Because it's just so well done.
That's good to know. I've never been for the Christmas show.
Oh, you need to go see it. It's great. And we buy our tickets for the Christmas play the week they come out because we like to sit down front. So we actually have front rows in the middle front seats for Christmas that we do every year. We want to be on the front row to be able to see the actors.
That's very cool. And sure, we'll just because before we started recording, David shared he was Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof, so that's your claim to fame.
Yeah. Long time ago. It was fun. It was a local theater company. Got a lot of young children and youth to be involved in plays. We never had. The Playhouse is the whole other world. It's Broadway quality things, but this was just a local theater, and I still have. Again, that's been a long time ago, but I still have somebody who stopped me on the street or so and said, "I was in that play with you."
Wow, that's awesome.
And I actually did 2 or 3 other ones with them, but Tevye was one for some reason I became famous, primarily because it was in the paper. They have. In fact, I have the picture of me in bed with playing Golda, and so the photographer said, "I've got a picture of you in bed with another woman." I said, "Yeah, but you put it in the paper for everybody to see, so it's not a big secret."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What's that biggest song in there? Is it
If I Were Richmond?
Yeah.
If I Were Richmond.
La-di-da-di-da-di-da.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
did you have the little hat and everything?
I had the hat. I danced, I have no rhythm, but I danced. But as I told you, Tevye is in every scene that plays except 2. So I had a lot of lines that, unfortunately, one of my daughters helped me learn my lines. So
that's awesome.
Because I learned better, not by reading, but by repeating things.
Repetition.
Repetition. That's how I learned
I am
lines.
horrible at memorizing. So I think in college I was in. Thankfully, I sang some songs, but I only had a few lines, and I'm horrible at
in case you don't know, Ed's a marvelous singer. And he and his family, we just enjoy. We go to church with them, so when we have the opportunity to hear you and your family sing, it's such a blessing to us. Thank you.
That's very kind. We don't share that on the podcast. We'll edit that out. And David's a great singer as well. I've sung next to David for years. So. All right, so you told us about some food. You don't go out to eat a lot. What's your favorite thing to make at home then? Mac and cheese?
I love my wife make baked beans. In fact, I'm looking forward to making some baked beans for a family get-together here coming up next week. So, but we'll make about everything.
Okay.
I got this box of it's beef, chicken, pork. Just a whole mixture of stuff. So, grill some, but do some on the stovetop, some in the oven. So
nice.
And then I'm going to do a pork roast tomorrow. So,
wow. And I didn't ask, but are you from Hendersonville?
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay.
Born and raised in Canton, Ohio. And that's where I get my, as you know, I'm a big Ohio State fan.
We're going to stay away from the college football conversation.
You don't have anything to talk about anyway. but both my parents are from Western North Carolina originally, 2 hours west of here, just this side of Murphy. So everybody we knew was from the South. Everybody we went to church with was from the South. And so when I had the opportunity to move back, I moved back, and then my parents came down a couple of years later. So, you lived in Brevard for a while, lived in Nashville for a while, and then came over here. And we've been here since '76, so
wow.
A long time.
Yep. And you've seen a lot of changes.
A lot of changes. So someone asked me the other day, "What's the biggest change?" I said, "That you saw over your years." I said, "When I first came to Henderson County, every other car in the summer had Florida license plates. Now they all have North Carolina license plates, and that's because our population went from 40,000 people when I came with Henderson County to, I don't know what it is now, 120, 130.
Yeah, I think it's around 120.
Yeah, something like that. So people are spending more time here. When I did the 2000 census, trying to convince people to say that they lived here for 6 months and 1 day, but they lived in Florida for less than 6 months. They wouldn't admit it because it's income tax and it's income tax in Florida. So they didn't want to admit they actually lived in Harris County for more than that. So
that's real interesting. I've never heard a number so 40,000 to like 120.
Yeah,
since
that's huge difference.
mid-70s.
Well, you just drive around and look.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you go around and you look at all the homes that are being built right now. It's just, everywhere you look, all of a sudden you go down the road and here's a new housing development being built.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more surprised lately. I mean, there was a lot of destruction from the hurricane, but right now it's not destruction, but I'm noticing lots being cleared out, treed lots being cleared out for some homes being built. That's newer to see.
Yeah.
There's quite a few, honestly. So
yeah, and people would come we'd have public hearings on zoning issues or land development issues. People would come to there and say, we don't need more people in Harris County. He said, well, when did you move here? So, I mean, it's going to happen. So it's just how you manage it, and that's the tough for the city and the county, the other municipalities here to manage that growth. We're going to have growth. We'll continue to grow. I absolutely believe we'll continue to grow.
Right.
It's just how do you manage that?
And it's nice to see influx of younger families too.
Yeah.
It's not just retirees, which I think is traditionally in the past. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So David, thank you for taking time.
Oh.
We've discussed food. We've discussed some of your career on Henderson County. I think we could do a round two, maybe in the spring. You have a lot more you could share with us. Maybe even wear your Tevi outfit. That'd be fun.
I had to turn all that back in.
We could Photoshop it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's amazing what can happen. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate your friendship, and I thank you for taking time. And for y'all listening and watching, thank you, and keep living local. Thanks for joining us on Living Local with Frisbee Real Estate. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with a friend. To learn more about Frisbee Real Estate, your lifelong home resource, visit frisbeerealestate.com. Until next time, keep living local.